ever had one of those experiences that just like totally reshaped how you look at things?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to be diving into today, the impact of missionary service.
All right.
And specifically, we've got excerpts from President M. Russell Ballard's April 2022 General Conference address,
Okay.
Missionary Service, Blessed My Life Forever.
Love that title.
It's pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, and it's interesting because this isn't just him kind of reflecting on, his personal life.
Right.
It offers some pretty fascinating insights into leadership resilience and how missionary work itself has transformed over time.
For sure. Within
the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah. So, okay, picture this.
Okay.
It's the Great Depression,
Mm-hmm.
and President Ballard's family, like many others at the time,
Right.
stopped attending church.
Yeah.
Due to just the economic strain.
That makes sense.
It was just a lot.
Yeah, you can imagine the pressure on families then, putting food on the table.
Right.
It really humanizes that historical period, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And yet,
Yeah.
young Ballard, even with his family not attending,
Yeah.
still found himself drawn to church,
Interesting.
going with friends.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, even as a young man,
Mhm.
he had this kind of inherent commitment to his faith.
That's a detail that speaks volumes. You know what I mean? It wasn't just about family routine for him. It was personal.
Yeah,
A sign of things to come.
exactly.
You get a glimpse of his independent spirit and the dedication that he would later demonstrate,
Yeah.
both in his faith and his eventual missionary work.
And then comes the moment that must have shocked his parents.
Oh, boy.
While they were away, Ballard decided to apply for a mission and got the call.
Wow.
Can you imagine their surprise when they returned home?
I bet that was a conversation.
Right.
But it really highlights his proactive nature,
Yeah.
He wasn't waiting around for things to happen. He was making things happen.
Yeah.
And that kind of initiative, it serves you well in any aspect of life.
Absolutely. So off he goes to Great Britain to serve his mission.
Okay.
And he credits this experience with some pretty profound impacts on his life.
Oh, wow.
Becoming a better husband and father, finding success in business,
Yeah.
and dedicating himself to a lifetime of service within the church.
It's fascinating because what we see here is the development of some pretty valuable transferable skills.
Yeah.
Disciplined communication,
Mm.
the ability to understand and connect with diverse people.
For sure.
These are the kinds of assets that employers in any field are looking for.
Totally. It's almost like being thrown into a completely new environment, forced to learn a new language and connect with people from all walks of life. I mean, that's got to foster some incredible personal growth.
You can't underestimate the value of that kind of intense, immersive experience, particularly when it's grounded in that spiritual foundation.
Right. And then there's this incredibly powerful statement where President Ballard says that serving a mission is where he truly came to know God and where he felt that Jesus Christ knew him.
So personal.
It's such a personal and
Yeah.
profound realization.
What strikes me is the depth of that statement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't just a theoretical understanding of his faith.
Right.
It became deeply personal and experiential through service.
Totally.
It was like a reciprocal recognition,
Yeah.
a moment of profound connection.
Yeah, and that resonates, I think, even with people who might not share the same faith,
Absolutely.
It's often through actively engaging with the world, through striving to make a difference, that we find that deeper meaning.
It's true. We discover those profound moments of connection when we step outside of ourselves and
Yeah.
focus on something larger.
And President Ballard also speaks very highly of his two mission presidents,
Okay.
highlighting the impact they had on him and the importance of mentorship.
It underscores the role that strong leaders play
Yeah.
in shaping young people.
Yeah.
These aren't just figureheads giving orders.
Yeah.
They're guiding, trusting, empowering.
Yeah.
They see potential and create opportunities for growth,
Totally.
helping individuals become the best versions of themselves.
And speaking of influential leaders, President Ballard's own missionary journey kind of intersected with a pivotal moment in church history.
Oh, okay.
He was called to preside over a mission himself just after President Spencer W. Kimball delivered this powerful message about converting the world.
Now, President Kimball's message was significant because it marked a shift in focus within the church.
Yeah.
It was about expanding missionary work globally, taking the message to every corner of the world.
And this vision, wouldn't you say, has continued to shape the church's approach to missionary work even today?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, just 10 years before President Ballard gave this address,
Yeah.
President Thomas S. Monson lowered the missionary age.
Right.
A huge change that made this experience accessible to even more young people.
And That decision was monumental.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost impossible to imagine it happening without the groundwork laid by President Kimball's vision
Yeah.
of global outreach.
Right.
It was a continuation of that vision,
Yeah.
a ripple effect that continues to shape the church today.
It's fascinating to see how the vision of one leader can inspire and influence the next generation to carry the message forward.
It really is inspiring.
Yeah.
It's remarkable how a vision can kind of ripple through time
Totally.
and shape the experiences of so many.
And as we kind of go a little deeper into President Ballard's message,
Okay.
I think it's important to remember who he was speaking to.
Okay.
Young people on the cusp of adulthood,
Yeah.
parents grappling with their children's choices, and even missionaries out in the field facing the challenges of a global pandemic.
It adds such a powerful layer to his words.
It does.
Doesn't it? He was speaking to a generation facing so much uncertainty,
Right.
experiencing isolation
Yeah.
in ways that few had before,
Sure.
and witnessing rapid changes in the world around them.
Exactly. And he addresses these challenges head on,
Yeah.
acknowledging the difficulties that those serving missions during the pandemic were facing.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
Mhm.
Traditional ways of connecting with people were suddenly disrupted.
Yeah.
Travel was restricted, and
Right.
the world was in a state of fear and uncertainty.
For sure.
It forced them to find entirely new ways to do their work.
He wasn't shying away from the reality of the situation.
No.
And this is where those themes of resilience and adaptability
Yeah.
really shine through.
Yeah.
These missionaries had to embrace technology,
Right.
find creative ways to connect and adapt their message to a world grappling with a global crisis.
Talk about a crash course in problem solving.
Oh, yeah.
And thinking outside the box.
Absolutely.
Invaluable skills no matter what path you choose in life.
Yeah, in a world that's constantly changing, that ability to adapt and find new ways to connect and serve is so essential. You could almost say that those pandemic-era missionaries were pioneers in a new kind of missionary work.
I like that. And in the face of all these challenges,
Yeah.
President Ballard still encourages young people to step forward and serve,
Wow,
even amidst the uncertainty.
that's a powerful message.
Isn't it?
It's about choosing courage over comfort,
Yeah.
embracing challenges
Plenty.
as opportunities for growth,
Yeah.
and finding purpose in contributing to something larger than yourself.
And he doesn't stop with the youth.
Okay.
He also addresses parents directly, urging them to be active participants in their children's desire to serve.
It highlights the importance of family support
Mm-hmm.
and mentorship in nurturing that spirit of service.
For sure.
Imagine the impact
Right.
when families create an environment where personal growth and spiritual development are encouraged and celebrated.
Absolutely. It's about creating a network of support, a collaborative effort where families and communities work together to help young people discover their potential and reach for it.
And that sense of community
Yeah.
extends beyond the family.
Okay.
President Ballard also speaks directly to bishops,
Yep.
encouraging them to be actively involved in preparing young people for missionary service and identifying those who might be ready
Right.
but haven't yet taken that step.
It's almost like creating this web of support
It is.
where individuals are surrounded by people who encourage their growth,
Yeah.
help them navigate challenges, and inspire them to make a difference.
And that idea transcends missionary work.
Absolutely.
You know, it speaks to the broader importance of mentorship and guidance
Yeah.
in shaping young lives and fostering that sense of purpose and belonging.
It's like he's saying we all have a role to play
We do.
in creating a world where service, compassion, and personal growth are valued and encouraged.
It's a universal call to action,
It is.
urging us to step outside our comfort zones
Yeah.
and embrace the transformative power of service.
But President Ballard doesn't stop there.
Okay.
He also offers some really insightful guidance for those returning from missionary service,
Okay.
reminding them that their commitment doesn't end when they come home.
Yeah, that's such an important point. It's about integrating the lessons they've learned, the skills they've developed,
Right.
and the spiritual growth they've experienced into their everyday lives.
Yeah.
He's essentially saying,
Yeah.
don't let this be a chapter that closes.
Right.
Let it be the beginning of a lifelong journey
Yeah.
of service and growth.
He gets specific.
Okay.
He offers some tangible advice. He talks about the importance of continuing to strengthen your testimony,
Right.
working hard, praying,
Right.
living in accordance with your covenants, which, for those unfamiliar with the term, are sacred promises made to God,
Okay.
and continuing to find ways to bless and serve those around you.
It's like a roadmap for translating that transformative experience of missionary work
Yeah.
into a life of purpose and meaning.
Right.
And, those principles apply to anyone,
Right.
regardless of their faith.
Totally.
It's about taking the lessons learned from challenging experiences
Mm.
and using them to fuel personal growth resilience and a commitment to making a positive impact on the world.
He's really emphasizing that service isn't just a thing you do.
Yeah.
It's a way of being in the world, a way of approaching life.
And that message is so powerful.
Yeah.
Especially for those transitioning back to normal life
Right.
after an intense and immersive experience, like missionary service.
Exactly.
It's a reminder that the journey doesn't end. It evolves and it
Didn't it?
adapts to new challenges and opportunities.
It's like the skills and insights you've gained become a foundation for navigating the complexities of life
Yes.
and making meaningful contributions to the world around you. And it's not just impacting yourself right.
Mm-hmm.
President Ballard also emphasizes that service has a ripple effect.
Oh, yeah?
It impacts families, communities, and even the world at large.
Your actions can create positive ripples that extend far beyond your immediate circle.
Totally.
Even small acts of service
Yeah.
can have a profound impact.
It's like a chain reaction of kindness.
It is.
One act inspiring another,
Yeah.
creating a more positive and interconnected world.
And it all starts with a willingness to step outside of our comfort zones,
Right.
embrace challenges,
Yeah.
and dedicate ourselves to something larger than ourselves.
So we've talked about President Ballard's personal journey, the historical context of his message, his call to action, and his guidance for those returning from missionary service.
It's a lot.
But I'm curious what resonates most with you personally. What stands out as the key takeaway from this deep dive?
What really strikes me is how President Ballard weaves together like the personal and the universal.
Yep.
He's speaking from his own experience, right?
Right.
But the themes are so relatable.
Yeah,
Resilient service finding purpose.
totally.
Those resonate with anyone,
For sure.
regardless of background or beliefs.
I completely agree. And for me, the biggest takeaway is that idea of service as a way of life,
Yeah.
not just a one-time event.
Not a box to check.
Yeah, it's about cultivating a mindset, a way of being in the world where you're constantly looking for those opportunities
Yeah.
to contribute, to make a positive impact, even in small ways.
It's like shifting your perspective
Yeah,
from what can I get
right.
to what can I give.
Exactly.
And I think that shift,
It's powerful.
it's powerful, right? It opens us up to new connections, new possibilities, and ultimately a deeper sense of purpose.
And it doesn't have to be some grand sweeping gesture.
Not at all.
It can be as simple as lending a listening ear to a friend,
Yeah.
or offering a word of encouragement,
Right.
or helping a neighbor with a task.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about those everyday acts of kindness
Yeah.
that add up.
Right.
It can truly make a difference.
Totally. It's like weaving that spirit of service into just the fabric of our daily lives.
I love that.
And in doing so, we not only contribute to a more compassionate and interconnected world,
Yeah.
but we enrich our own lives in the process.
We do.
And, President Ballard closes his address with a very powerful quote
Oh, okay.
from the Book of Mormon.
Okay.
It's this passage where the Lord is instructing a group of missionaries,
Hmm.
and he says, "Go forth and establish my word. Yet ye shall be patient in long-suffering and afflictions, that you may show forth good examples in me, and I will make an instrument of thee in my hands unto the salvation of many souls."
Powerful.
It's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And while that passage is directed at missionaries,
Right.
it speaks to a universal truth about the power of service.
Mhm.
It suggests that we can all become instruments of positive change,
Yeah.
conduits for compassion and kindness, working to uplift and inspire those around us.
And I think that message resonates with anyone you know,
Absolutely.
regardless of their faith or background.
It's a call to action
Yeah, it is.
to embrace that transformative power of service,
Yeah.
to find those opportunities to make a difference,
Mm-hmm.
and to trust that our efforts, no matter how small, can contribute to a better world.
They really can.
We've spent this deep dive exploring one man's experience,
Right.
but it really opens up some broader questions for all of us to consider.
Yeah, I agree.
What experiences have shaped your life?
Yeah.
And how have they influenced your approach to service?
Good question.
How can we all, in our own unique ways, connect with something larger than ourselves and contribute to something meaningful?
Hmm.
What are the missions we undertake in our daily lives,
Right.
even if they're not formal or religious in nature?
Those are fantastic questions to reflect on.
Are they?
Each of us has a unique contribution to make,
Yeah,
a purpose to fulfill.
absolutely.
And it's often through those acts of service,
Yeah.
both big and small, that we discover that purpose, connect with something larger, and leave a positive mark on the world.
Something to ponder as you go about your day.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time.